Hey folks, it's Fernando doing a video for More Survival. It's pretty late already, but I just wanted to do a video regarding something that we were talking about with some people from Argentina just a few weeks ago actually, and being all expats from Argentina, folks that left Argentina, we ended up in another country and such. You don't only have the thing in common that you have. It's not just being from Argentina. You also have in common that you are the kind of person that does something about it when you're not happy with how things are anymore. Millions of people live in Argentina and they complain about things, and they really wish they could do something about it, but not everyone ends up doing it. I don't know if it's being a little bit crazy or being a little bit braver or what exactly it is, but there's a difference between those that end up doing something about it, those that decide to take action on not being happy with how things are anymore, and those that don't. It takes a leap of faith for sure. It's not for everyone, and you just don't know how things are going to be working out, and it's always feel safer to stick with what you know rather than go into the unknown. That's obvious enough. So that's one more thing that we have in common. It's not just that we're all from Argentina, but we're all people that took that leap. And well, one of the guys was mentioning that a few years after leaving, he went back to Argentina for the holidays. I think it was for Christmas. He looked around, he realized that he no longer had a home anymore, and he ended up crying there in Christmas Eve. And I completely understood what he meant by it. By when you leave, this was the conversation, and we basically all ended up agreeing on it, that when you leave, you don't have a home anymore. We all pretty much left basically for the same things. We were looking for a better life. I think that all of us were looking for more safety. The crime problem in Argentina that I've always talked about so much, it's something that we all agree on. You just cannot live that way. At least us, those that left, simply felt that we could not live that way anymore. Always worried about being mugged, shot, always worried about if you're out late or even in the middle of the afternoon, or your kids riding a bicycle, if something happens to them. That's maybe one of the main reasons why we end up leaving. Also because of other things as well, especially the economy being such a huge mess, and especially the instability of not knowing what the hell's going to be happening next week, next month, even the next day. It's so unstable. Inflation every single day, inflation little by little, destroying and eating up the savings that you have and the wages that you make, the money that you have in your pocket. Inflation is always chipping away at that, and that instability also affects you. It's very stressful to live that way. 25%, 30% inflation or more. It's no way of living. But we, and this does not mean that we don't love our country. I mean, all of us are very patriotic and love our country in spite of having left, because we simply couldn't, make ourselves stay there anymore, given the conditions. But once you leave because of these things, and you do find them elsewhere, because there are places much safer than Argentina, that's why you leave, and that's what you eventually end up finding, because we did find that. I did find a place where I can just go walking. Doesn't matter if it's 12 p.m., the middle of the night, I could just go walking in the middle of the night. Nothing's going to be happening to me. That's unthinkable in Argentina, right? So you end up finding that stability, that security, that peace that comes along with all of this. And once you find that, you just cannot go back to living the way you used to. It's like, you know, those toys for kids, for small kids, those toys that have, you know, like a box with those shapes, you know, a star, a circle, a square, a triangle, and you have all these shapes and forms that fit through those little holes. You leave your country being a certain way. Maybe you're like a square. When you leave and you find something else, you're no longer a square, you're a circle, and you don't fit anymore in the square where you come from, because you found that which you were looking for, and you just cannot come back to being the way you used to be. You just cannot go back to living the way you used to be. And you're not, the thing is this, you've changed as a person. You're no longer the person that left. You're the person that adapted to the new place that you are living. And as always, it's much easier to change for the better than for the worse. So when you go back to your country, you realize that you simply do not fit there anymore. You've changed, and it's the reality there is no longer acceptable for you. So you end up in this position where you no longer have a home, because you cannot go back home, because that's not going to be doing it for you anymore. Yet at the same time, wherever it is that you are, it's really not going to be home for you. You're always going to be an immigrant, an outsider. And even if you are in a place where people treat you well, and and years go by, decades go by, and you start making friends, and you start making connections with a place, you know, bonding. It's never gonna be where you come from. It's never gonna be your land. It's never gonna be that your culture. So, and this is something that my grandmother was telling me when we were leaving. She was explaining to me pretty much this same thing, that when she left Spain with my grandfather, they never made a home for themselves. They never felt a home in Argentina, because home for them was Spain. In spite of leaving Spain because of all the mess, because of the civil war and the tough conditions over there, you're still emotionally attached to your country, of course. So you leave, and you mostly do that for many aspects for yourself, but also most of all for your kids. I guess that's one of the things. Now, there's folks that they know of that left for themselves and such, and they find themselves in this position of not being home anywhere, but still, if they're going to be staying in one place, they're going to be staying, of course, in the one that they're happier and better off. But I guess that when you have kids, you especially do this for your kids, because maybe it's not going to be home for you, but there's a good chance that it's going to be home for your children and your children's children, definitely for them. So yeah, these are all decisions that you end up making. I just wanted to explain that it's not really as simple as it's sometimes led, or as it seems sometimes, because we always talk about practical stuff. I at least know that I do here in my channel, talk about all the practical aspect of bugging out, relocating, you know, settling elsewhere. But we have a baggage, we have emotions, and we are complex beings. But it's only when you do these things for real that you understand more of the complete picture of what it is. Folks, if you like my take on survival and preparedness, as always, you have my books below the links to Amazon, the Mars Survival Manual, and Bugging Out and Relocating as well, with covering all this kind of stuff. Guys, that's going to be all for now. Remember to subscribe, thumbs up, and share. See you on our next video. Have a great day.